Hi, it's Rob Carson. Coming up on the show, in the midst of sexual assault allegations, Joe Biden says the U.S. should engage in economic intercourse. Stick around. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Rob Carson, and I'm glad to be a part of Newsmax TV. Today, we've got much to cover, including sexual assault allegations against Joe Biden, the woman who is bringing them, and the women who are defending him, among other things. Let's start things off by talking about Joe Biden. He appeared on a CBS affiliate in Miami on Monday and said that President Trump's decision to prioritize America above all other nations is tantamount to going alone when it comes to the contagion. And he says that we should engage in what he calls economic intercourse.
I would get much more engaged in the world. We can't step back. You're going to have travel bans. You're going to not be able to have economic intercourse around the world.
Isn't that what prostitutes do? Isn't that economic intercourse? I could be wrong. You know, maybe I had my biology and my econ classes all kind of mixed up. Maybe that's why the teacher didn't like me so much. I'm really not sure. Have you ever heard intercourse used in any other way? Have you ever heard that word used in any other way, intercourse? I mean, have you ever, it's like, hey, can I give you a call later? I'd like to engage in some conversational intercourse. What? Try that the next time you try to pick somebody up and see how well that works for you. Hillary Clinton has endorsed Joe Biden. They did it during a little Zoom conference online. Here she is saying that she's all in for Joe.
I am thrilled to be part of your campaign.
Oh, Hillary, thank you. We are. That famous quote by Joyce, when I die, Dublin will be written on my heart. I think when we die, Scranton will be written on our hearts. It was...
Not sure what that means, actually.
I really appreciate your friendship.
So I want to add my voice to the many who have endorsed you. If we had a president who not only listened to the science, put facts over fiction, but brought us together, showed the kind of compassion and caring.
And was a woman. Did I let that slip out? No, she's got to be kind of sitting there going, he's... not particularly all that together, and there is a vice presidential candidate position open, and I'm probably not going to be elected to being president, but there is that 25th Amendment thing. Just all of these things, Here's Joe actually kind of endorsing her for president.
The woman who should be president of the United States right now, Hillary Clinton. Welcome, Hillary. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, he kind of endorsed her there a little bit. That's what I'd say. Now, despite the fact that China is pretty much responsible for the coronavirus, we're not exactly sure how, but we know it started there. Bill Gates would have none of blaming China for any of it.
It is China that is to blame for this virus. You've been following this very carefully. How would you respond to the charge that, look, the Chinese covered this up? They've essentially...
And they did with the WHO. They pretty much did.
Deceived the rest of the world.
And they did that too.
As a result, they should be held in some way responsible for this.
Well, I don't think that's a timely thing because it doesn't affect how we act today.
Because they didn't act, we have 1 million people in this country who have the virus. So I'd say it's pretty timely.
China did a lot of things right. At the beginning, like any country where a virus first shows up, they can look back and say where they missed some things. Some countries did respond very quickly and get their testing in place, and they avoided the incredible economic pain. And it's sad that if
he didn't have billions and billions of dollars, he would have no woman in his life. You know that, right?
U.S. that you would have expected to do this well did it particularly poorly. But it's not time to talk about that. But this is the time.
It's a perfect time to blame Donald Trump for everything, but certainly not China.
Time to take the great science we have, the fact that we're in this together, fix testing, treatments.
And I think probably a lot of my products are made over in China, and they do a really good job, and they make them pretty cheap. And that's why I have a $50 million house in Seattle, and A whole bunch of other places, too. You know, one hero of this, an unlikely hero of the conservative movement, is Kristi Noem. She is the governor of South Dakota, and she basically said, I'm not going to shut down the state. South Dakota has seen no great increase in the number of people with infections, and people died. She got a little surprise parade in front of the governor's mansion earlier this week. She's like, did somebody call? Dad, I mean, I know I burnt the toast this morning and the fire detector went off. But honestly, it's okay. Go back. No, I'm fine. The toaster. See you later. Oh, wait, it's a parade. And she has done a great job for the state of South Dakota. Bill de Blasio has a parade like this almost every single day. This is a pretty interesting story to show kind of how nuts people have gone over this with regard to social distancing and stay-at-home orders. Hamilton, New Jersey, a couple kids decided to go play football in a park. A math teacher from a local high school would have none of it, and she got a little nuts on him. Her name is Nicole Griggs, and here she is.
Close the whole area. Get it through your thick head. You are the reason we are in this situation.
I don't think they're the reason we're in this situation. And where's your mask as you walk your dog?
You are the problem, not the solution. Go ahead, keep recording. Who are you going to show it to? Post me on social media.
Well, I don't know, this show, you know.
You're the idiot doing the wrong thing.
Now, here's where it gets real nuts.
I'm just trying to save your ass and save your life.
I'm just trying to save your bleep and save your life.
But die, okay? I hope both of you get the coronavirus. I hope you both die a long, painful death.
Okay, well, she was there to save us just literally seconds ago, and now she wants us to die a painful death. Do you want us to be okay, or do you want us to die? Just make up your mind to flip a coin or something, all right? Yeah, nuts. Coming up, a news anchor wears no pants on air for the first time since Matt Lauer. Stick around. Welcome back to Rob Carson's What in the World? I, of course, am Rob Carson. Funny things happen this week in the media. A lot of people are doing their shows from home. I'm not. I'm actually hovering above Washington, D.C. This is really not a green screen behind me. Look, listen to all the noise of the traffic. Okay, so I'm doing it at home, too. ABC reporter Will Reeve, who is the son of Christopher Reeve, the actor, filmed a segment for GMA at home on Tuesday. And he was talking about using drones to carry prescriptions. The only problem is Will didn't have any pants on.
UPS and UPS say initially the final leg of prescriptions journeys will be done by ground carriers, so people won't be getting their medication dropped out of the sky into their mailbox just yet. But the companies do say they will scale up the program if it is successful, guys.
Very cool.
And there you
Will.
go.
Thank you.
There's no pants. He's not wearing any pants. Now, he says that those aren't boxer shorts. They're actually just shorts, and we've all heard that this happens very frequently. Matt Lauer, he had a desk in his office with a button that could lock the door, and I'm assuming there were probably a good many times he may or may not have been wearing pants. And in response to your next question, wouldn't you like to know? Is it chilly in here? So a Democrat lawmaker said that officials were opening up businesses that blacks own, or I should say would go to, and it puts them at risk. So apparently the opening up of America is not good for black people, and it's intentionally meant to target them. This is Representative Marcia Fudge in an online conference talking about just that.
Because they just opening up things that black people go to because they know we've got these checks and they want us to spend them. They don't care about our safety. That's why when they start to open up things they go to, then I'll understand it's time for them to start to open up some things for us.
Okay. You know, when I heard that, I nearly spilled my bottle of Old Crow, and my monocle fell from my eye because, you know, I'm a white person, and I certainly wouldn't go to a barber shop, and I certainly wouldn't go bowling. And I guess maybe I'm wrong, and I like to think I'm colorblind, but when I go to the bowling alley, I just see a lot of white people. Maybe it's just my neighborhood, maybe it's just my bowling alley, but you know, okay, whatever. Joe Biden has been accused of sexual assault by Tara Reade, a story that has been avoided by CNN. CNN did 700 stories on Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh. Has only done, I believe, one story on this. Joe Biden has not been asked about this at all. Tara Reid in 1993 was a Hill staffer. She worked in Joe Biden's office. She said that he assaulted her on an elevator after bringing a gym bag, and nobody believed her, even though she supposedly went to some people around her, but did not approach the media. So it kind of just disappeared. Well, in an interview, Tara Reid said, my mom actually called Larry King live in 1993 to bring up these allegations. CNN wasn't able to find it. They weren't able to find it, but somebody else was.
We're back. A couple more phone calls on this very important topic. Our guests are former United States Senator Howard Baker, Richard Allen, former National Security Advisor, and Lois Romano.
Sorry, I don't have the video, just the audio, but trust me, Larry King looked old even then.
Of the Washington Post. San Luis Obispo, California. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm wondering what a staffer would do besides go to the press in Washington. My daughter has just left there after working for a prominent senator and could not get through with her problems at all. And the only thing she could have done was go to the press, and she chose not to do it out of respect for him.
Out of respect from him, which I'm not sure if this actually happened, that it would require any respect from her. That said, somehow, after she reported this incident to other people she worked with, she was put in a windowless office. She was basically drummed out of Washington, D.C., and had her career in politics end fairly abruptly. Joe Biden says he's championed against violence against women his entire life.
Violence against women is a huge problem, and especially right now. And Hillary and I have worked very hard on trying to end violence against women. I've met thousands of domestic violence victims for real, trying to get the law passed. And
many of them actually may have, never mind.
Getting it passed and working beyond that. And it's heartbreaking to know the suffering they have
all of this, of course, is alleged.
Experienced and are experiencing. But I also know how much courage they have. Our support for victims has to match the courage they show
Hillary is about to bite through her lower lip right there.
Every day. First, I want victims to know they are not alone.
Nod and go along
the National
with
Domestic Violence
The other husband, who kind of has a history,
hotline is there for them.
There. Call that abuse line.
Call.
Of course, that abuse line was not around in 1993, but you may recall that Hillary Clinton did a sexual assault PSA a couple years ago.
I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have a right to be heard, and you have a right to be believed. We're with you.
As long as you're not accusing a Democrat, you have a right to be believed. If you are accusing a Democrat, no right. No right for you. Several women were all about Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, saying that she was a victim, even though she didn't remember what year it happened, where it happened, and none of her friends could corroborate her story. That said, several women have come out supporting her, and not so much with Tara Reid.
We help create a system that tells women if they come forward, they're going to be believed.
In just a moment, I'm going to share the one thing that these women have in common.
Period.
I was proud of Dr. Blasey Ford's response and her demeanor, but they know how important it is that we give survivors a voice and that they have an advocate.
Have you figured it out yet?
To all of the women and men out there who have experienced this, we will hear you, we will see you, we will respect you, we will give you dignity.
Unless you're accusing a Democrat.
The right to defend himself, but this isn't a criminal trial. This is a job interview for the highest court in the land.
Women should be believed.
Okay, what are the one thing that all of those women have in common? They're all kind of interested in being Joe Biden's vice president. And they're not saying anything about Joe. One more video clip from Uncle Joe. He appeared on TV with his wife this week. And we've all kind of questioned Joe's mental acuity. He's been slipping a little bit. And in this appearance, he didn't talk at all.
And together, we're just getting started. This moment reminds us that the presidency is about
Is he smiling or frowning? I can't tell.
true leadership, having the forethought to prepare for the worst, the backbone to lead through chaos, the character to move beyond politics and serve every American, no matter where they live or what they believe. Only one candidate in this election
Now he's starting to realize maybe he can understand what she's saying.
has all three. My husband, our next president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Okay, that's me. I get it. Okay, cool. Does that, in any way, shape, or form remind you of this guy? I'm just saying, just maybe a little. The other person's doing the talking, and he's just kind of looking there with what could be a frown, and it could be a smile. Or in the age of coronavirus, maybe this is more appropriate. Yeah. All right, so coming up, the state of California says that only one person can swim at a swimming pool in a neighborhood at one time. I don't think this is going to end well. Stick around. And we're back. A lot of municipalities, a lot of states, a lot of mayors have adopted some really stupid rules with regard to social distancing and which businesses can be open. And it's not just the state of Michigan. In Riverside County, California, they've decided to let community pools be open again. But only one person can swim at once. Here's a report from KESQ-TV.
I think it's good. I don't know if we're quite there yet, but I think it's important to move that direction for people that are unable to exercise by running or some other means.
A lifelong swimmer and former lifeguard, Steven Erickson, says he was excited to hear the county easing up their restrictions on shared swimming pools. However, there's a catch.
We're asking people to still continue to social distance. And as well,
I don't think anyone is standing within 6 feet of this guy.
One individual inside the pool at a time.
So this is either unnecessary or he just got back from holding up a convenience store.
The goal, to ensure people don't congregate in or around the pools while still allowing recreational swimming, especially for those who rely on it for exercise, like this woman calling into Palm Springs City Council last night who has a blood clotting disorder.
Swimming is a way that I keep my blood going.
Nobody's going to get in the pool because she's going to be in there all day. Come on.
I have to worry about getting clots.
Tonight, that new one person per pool rule sparking new concerns about the safety of lone swimmers.
Huh. Did you guys remember the movie Jaws?
A little bit mortifying. That's kind of rule number one about swim safety. Never swim alone.
He says even with a buddy nearby, it only takes a moment for a swim to turn south.
Okay, so now you just want one person in the pool, but if there's only one person in the pool, then things can get all sorts of drowny, I guess, right? By the way, you have to put all furniture in pool areas. They must be removed or stacked or chained so that's unusable. Let's see how enforceable that is. I worked in a building where it said that you'd face a $250 fine if you got caught smoking on an elevator. Whoever got a ticket for that? Did anybody ever get a ticket from that? Now, you may recall Gary Leaney is 68 years old, died March 22nd. His wife, 61, Wanda. She has said that despite that she's a big Trump hater and a Democrat donor, that she took Donald Trump's advice and took chloroquine and put it in her husband and hers Mountain Dew. Now, here's the thing. It's not hydroxychloroquine, which you can get from a doctor, but it is the stuff that is in fish tank cleaner. Now, she had some fish tank cleaner in the cabinet, and apparently this woman is known for making vitamin cocktails for her husband. Really, she makes them all the time, and that day, it was a spur-of-the-moment thing. They both decided, even though Gary's a pretty even-minded guy and all of their friends saying that it would make no sense whatsoever for him to drink hydrochloroquine or chloroquine fish cleaner in a Mountain Dew. But he did it anyway. He died. I guess she threw up and she was okay, and she went to the hospital, and she said it's all Donald Trump's fault, even though she's a Trump donor, and she doesn't believe a thing that Donald Trump says, but somehow she decided that because Donald Trump... You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? Yeah, Mesa police have opened up a homicide investigation into the death of Gary Leaney, whose wife, Wanda, served him a deadly cocktail to ward off the virus. And, well, I guess the only positive is no more virus. This is a pretty cool story. Michael Hupp, employee at North Carolina-based business Biddy & Bose, took the stage at the White House to talk about the paycheck program, the protection program of the White House. Biddy & Bose, they hire people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And they were able to keep 120 people on staff because of the Payroll Protection Act. Here is this young man who has a mental disability, I guess you could say, praising the president and this program.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having us. I love my job, and I am excited about going back to work. At B&Bose, we like to use the phrase called not broken. That means me and all my amazing coworkers are not broken, and we have lots to offer. I know the great country of the United States isn't broken either. So on behalf of myself, Megan, and Amy, and all the employees of B&Bose, thank you for inviting us over.
Very, very cool. And on a serious note, unfortunately, Michael and many people like him, and I'm not saying that Michael has Down syndrome, but kids with Down syndrome are aborted most of the time. That's why there's a Down syndrome test before birth. My pediatrician, my wife's doctor, her gynecologist, said, "Do you want to take the Down syndrome test?" And I asked why. Didn't really get a response. Just wanted to know if you want to know the Down syndrome thing. Unfortunately, they are the only group in the world, frequently mentally handicapped, those with Down syndrome, who can be majorly discriminated against in the world. Okay. If you attend Indiana University, where students are distance learning during the coronavirus pandemic, and you have the urge to attend your Zoom calls in your birthday suit like Will Reeve, although Will Reeve had some, a jacket on and he was just wearing shorts. But apparently the administration is saying you should not. The Indiana Daily Student, the university student paper, reported last week some of the student schools leaders sent an email warning professors that some of the students might hop on Zoom calls naked, which, they're not going to show it. School spokesman Chuck Carney told the paper that reporting the nudity had a dual purpose. First, showing up to class without clothing is reportedly a violation of the university's Code of Student Rights, Responsibilities, and Conduct. Second, nude class attendance might be a sign that a student is suffering psychological distress. I did it before Zoom. It didn't end well. I'm just kidding. All right, that's going to do it for my edition of the show this week. I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you for watching Newsmax Television, and I really want to thank Newsmax for making me a part of this. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, it is at Rob Carson Show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Rob Carson. If you'd like to follow me, well, I'm not going to give you my address. You can also write me, carsonontheradio@gmail.com. And on YouTube, I'm there at Rob Carson Show. Have a glorious day and a glorious week, and we'll see you soon.